Well, technology updates are always fun. And
Mm.
yeah, I've been using bases for a while because obviously insiders. And Obsidian is the note-taking app that I've been using for what's it, 6 years now? And when bases came out, I knew there was going to be yeah, it's been a while. uh, I knew there was going to be some videos that came out on bases. Um, and some of the videos that I've seen, I understand why they're there, are this is everything you need to know about bases. And this is going to be the Notion killer. And this is going to change the way Obsidian is seen, etc., etc. And I'm like, no, it does what DataView did and still does. And if you've got the task plugin, it does the same thing. The only difference is it's on the file level, which, granted, it is very useful. And I really like the bases, which I'll go through a little bit later how I'm using it. But I feel like there's a bit of overemphasis on how amazing bases are. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I use them a little bit, um, but they're fine. They're just another tool in the toolbox. They're not taking over the world. They're kind of like awesome. Yay, I can now look at my files in a slightly different way, which is really useful at a glance. Data view did that.
I
At least
think,
I don't have to at least I don't have to do a bloody data view query anymore to make it work. That brings me utter joy. Is it revolutionary? No.
but I think that's the big point. Bases reduces the need to understand data view,
Mm, mm.
which potentially increases the user base. Get it, bases, user base. Um, it potentially increases the user base for Obsidian because there's less of a barrier to using a data view type view, especially if you've got cards as well in there. And I assume they'll probably move in other directions in the future at some point. Having a calendar view would be nice. Um, but yeah, because everyone I've spoken to in my sort of like circle that uses Obsidian or that knows of Obsidian, they go sort of go the same way. It's like, yeah, cool, great, loads of other tools do that. And that is why I think when I look at the software and the technology and the apps that are coming out, I'm like, there's nothing new here. Everyone is doing the same thing. And everyone is creating the same sort of app. I mean, Notion hasn't really had any proper updates. The calendar update that's come out recently, that's quite nice. You can now actually edit properties inside of Notion Calendar, which you would have expected straight out of the bat. But anyway, um,
Does that mean that Morgan's gonna get that functionality soon, please?
what create stuff in
No,
Notion, maybe?
edit properties.
Uh, I don't know. Probably not because I mean, web app is a lot, and then the other things that they're working on takes most of the developers. Morgan's focusing on Morgan, not Notion. But I know what you mean. Uh, yeah, so Notion Calendar sort of came out with an update, and Notion has offline, which is nice. That came out. I think it came out because I saw a Thomas Frank video that was suggested. I didn't watch it because I don't use Notion. Um, well, I don't use Notion enough to be bothered. But
Yeah.
again, it's like Obsidian has offline mode, and you can already edit your tasks in the calendar depending on the calendar app you use and the source where it comes from. So I'm like, what? Where's the? Oh, this is really going to solve your problem. And I think that's what it comes back to, which is why, like, Marquez talking about phones and iPads or any of the material reviews are more viewed than the software.
Yeah. I just don't. I love my technology. I love playing with technology, but even now, it's just every single app looks the same and does the same thing in slightly different ways. And I'm just kind of like, cool. I just want my app to do what I want it to do, and I just want things to do what I want, and then I can just carry on with my day.
Yeah. exactly that. And
And and most of the time it just does. So I don't have to think about it or worry about it.
yep. And I reckon the problems people have probably aren't that many problems unique to certain people to have features. But that's where you get power tools. Like power users of tools will use things in certain ways because they have a niche issue here or over there or something. Um, Obsidian is great for research, and I think this is better than Notion for writing and researching and organizing files, especially as you can actually have files in Obsidian. Um,
Uh,
yep, but but when it comes to like the actual feature set of the tool, basically the same. You just
yeah,
write in it.
yeah. Like I don't spend enough time caring
So,
about the features.
so where do you spend most of your time when it comes to software?
So it's kind of goes between Obsidian, Claude, and that's about it. Obsidian, Claude, in my browser.
You don't touch Morgan?
A little bit for just organizing because oh no, and Notion. So I touch Notion for my organizing of my contractor work because it has the press the buttons, add all tasks, and then Morgan just I just press the AI planner and I don't see myself using the app. I am using Morgan, but I'm also just coming in there looking at it and then going, cool. Oh, I haven't got any tasks in. Press the button. So I think like using the app actively and glancing at it every so often when I need to see what I'm doing was very different. So yes, I all of the time I'm in Raycast because that's how I add tasks to Morgan because I don't like the way you add tasks to Morgan in built in. So I have a little app for that I built. Um, then I'm in Obsidian because that's where I do a lot of my writing, and then Claude. That's I guess Obsidian, Claude, Morgan, pretty much.
I mean, I'm even less than that. I mean, I got Morgan for what I'm doing, and then I got Obsidian for writing, and yeah, done.
Yeah, makes
Like, so
sense.
the people have asked, "Oh, do you not use Otera anymore?" I'm like, I don't really need to, because my stuff is organized in Obsidian. Yes, I'll store a PDF if I need a PDF in Zotero. My stuff is stored in Obsidian, and then I'm gonna write stuff in Obsidian, and then I'm gonna organize when I'm gonna write stuff in Obsidian in Morgan, and then I'm gonna go back to Obsidian and write stuff. That's it. I just use the two. I don't need any more. Uh, and so when I look at some of the people talking about software now, I think. But how do you use it? And when do you use it? And what problem is it solving? Or is it just creating a problem? It's why when I look at Google Calendar, I'm like, could I just use Google Calendar? No, because I have a work calendar in Outlook. And seeing my work calendar in Outlook and Google uh, is a technical pain in the bum. Uh, but also, I can't share my work calendar with my family, so they don't know when I'm in a meeting or not. So I need a way to propagate the events from my work calendar to my personal calendar. And then during my time in Google Calendar, even if I didn't have work, how do I show and hide certain calendars at certain times? Well, you have to go over and click all the buttons.
No, too much time.
Yeah. And that is, again, another pain in the bum, especially when you've got like 20 plus calendars that you need to try and search through. Uh, so it's those small things, those small problems that I have with regular free calendar apps that makes me go, I want to use a tool. I want to use
Yeah,
another tool that isn't like everyone's go-to, which for me is
yeah,
Morgan for the calendar app. Also, the Air Planner is just like amazing. The web app is also really, really nice. And various other features, scheduling tools, busy tools, seeing free and busy. It's so weird. Being able to see the difference between a free and busy event in Morgan, and then going back to Google and realizing there's no visual difference, I'm like, confused. I'm so
Yeah.
confused. Like, where am I busy and where am I not busy? Because I have events in my calendar for those unaware that you can do this, because I didn't realize people didn't know you could do this. You can have events that are free and events that are busy. Busy events obviously block your calendar, free events don't. In
Mhm.
Google, they don't look any different. You have to click on the thing and then look for free or busy. But sometimes I want to put something in, such as rugby. Like the Rugby World Cup's going on at the moment. I'm not busy at that time, but I want to know when it is. And I want to make sure it's on a calendar that's always being shown. So I have my all the matches. So when England, the Red Roses are playing, I have them in my calendar as free events. I go to Google and my calendar is just constantly blocked when I look at it. And I'm like, I can't do anything because I'm always watching the rugby because there's like 3 or 4 games on per day over the weekend. I'm like, my weekends, I'm fully busy. I'm not. I'm free. But Google doesn't let me see that. And there are so many small, there's so many small things like that that it gets in the way, which is why I use a different app.
Yeah.
And I can't think of another calendar app that does all the small things enough. And I think that's where an app is really specific. It's like it's the small features that you use, not the big ones that everyone else has.
Yeah. And it's just this, like, for me, it goes back to I can put my tasks that I want to get done into my calendar and it doesn't look a mess.
Hmm. So I guess
And I can
what are
press a
your
single shortcut and open my calendar and see everything I need to.
what are your main like niche features? Like the features that you use in Google Calendar, in Morgan Calendar that you don't use in Google Calendar. I mentioned some of mine.
They're very similar. The free and busy thing I love. I do that a lot because I have a lot of well, a number of tasks in my calendar. Like free and busy is what I use all the time. I love the scheduling. The scheduling's super simple. That's something that I use all the time. That might be
The
a bit.
AI planner.
Yeah, the AI planner. Yeah, I suppose booking links now exist in Google Calendar, but I don't like them. I like the way that Morgan does it, so I just use Morgan's. Just being able to tick off tasks in my calendar like that is beautiful. It just
So I guess would Notion Calendar be a fit for you?
mm, maybe no. I would hate adding lots of tasks into Notion.
There.
Like
Do you,
I suppose, I suppose I could use Raycast and build a Notion integration to add tasks easier to my. So I suppose I could, but the only reason why I use the Notion app is for pre-generating tasks that are a repeatable process that I use all the time.
Mhm.
And even that is just a nicety. I could do it manually. I just can't be bothered, and I would rather have it done for me. So I suppose that's. I also think actually it's the interconnectivity between all of the apps and it coming in correctly. So like be it like because in mine I have a whole host of task lists now. I've got like um my Google tasks. So if I have an event in an inbox that I want to send over here to review later, I can just press a button and send it over. I like the fact it all goes to one place.
And you
So I
couldn't
have
do that with
that.
Google Calendar,
And
with
Google,
Notion Calendar.
well, I don't know whether you can with Notion Calendar. I didn't look 'cause I didn't care enough.
Well, I imagine there is probably some workaround to make it work.
Yeah,
You could create a task from the email. I guess with Notion Mail, I've not looked at that at all. Um,
no,
that
no.
might do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose I could do all of the integrations and try and do integrations with integrations and have that done, but I like just being able to have it all in. I've got Linear, I've got Notion, I've got Google Tasks, and then I got Morgan. So no matter where it goes,
It's there.
it's there. I don't have to think about it.
Do you use the global hotkey? Because I was talking with my sister the other day, because we were testing the web app, and she said she likes the web app, but she doesn't like not being able to use the global hotkey.
Mm,
Because she uses that all the time. It's
mm.
like, what am I doing? Oh, okay, yeah. What am I doing? Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh
She
yeah,
doesn't.
the global hotkey is great, but I mean I can have that. I did have that before in
Fantastical.
Fantastical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, but yes, that is a thing. I will never use the web app because I like pressing Option C and just looking over there. Like,
Yeah.
so simple.
Well, that's something that I wonder what if other calendar apps do. I know a lot of calendar apps are browser based, so you can't on browser. Um, so the app version, I imagine, should be able to. I mean, Akiflow has an agenda type view, but it's not really the calendar, and it's like a small little thing that pops up at the side, which I personally didn't like at all. It wasn't that useful either, and you
No.
couldn't really interact with it. It was just here's a list of stuff. I'm like, okay, where am I? Which could work, just not enough for me, especially when I want to have a look around things, go forward a couple of days, go backwards
Yeah.
a couple of days. Um,
Yeah, I prefer doing most of the time I do spend my time just in this view scanning back and forth. Because I have a fairly large widescreen screen, so I can have like a quarter of my screen taken up with just the week without having to worry about it.
oh wow, okay, yeah, no, mine's not like a whole week. I have a day. I have a day on one screen that's just
I vary. I flip between. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's just a day. Sometimes I actually that's a feature I love. It's the going a certain number of days. So 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days.
okay. Do you ever
I
go
like
up to
that
like
feature.
8 or 9?
Yeah, I
You
like
do.
that. So the next 9 days I get to see in a small amount. Yeah, I really love that. I use that quite a lot, especially when it comes to the AI scheduler, actually, thinking about it. Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite features.
Okay, so when we put it then back to Obsidian,
Yeah,
what's your main Obsidian use? Is it just create file, write stuff?
pretty much. Yeah, it's create file, write stuff, and then I use it with AI as well. So I use it to generate like summaries of our conversations and put it into Obsidian via an MCP. So there's that as well. But primarily it's just for opening up and writing stuff or storing stuff.
So what sort of stuff you're writing and storing in your Obsidian? Is it work, is it personal, research?
Primarily just content that I'm writing or working on or thinking about or ideas. It's basically my note taker again.
Yep. Okay. And then with the bases, what views are you looking at, or is it just everything? Because I imagine you've got a few thousand files in your Obsidian now.
Probably. Don't know. Um, Primarily it's the content one I'm looking at. I have a content basis. Half of them I haven't actually replaced from um data view because it's there,
Fair, fair.
so I don't bother.
So it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what I do. I use it for my content. So at a glance, I can see all of the things that I'm working on as I'm working on it.
So how do you filter that out? Is it a tag or a status in property or
So it is a property.
So you've got a status property to say like active, or are you looking for in progress something?
So the first part is like the type. So it's the class of the content because I still use is it metadata menu? I don't know what it's called
Yeah,
anymore. Yeah,
yeah.
metadata menu. I still use that because I can't be asked to change it.
Fair, fair. It's a good enough
So I have a
excuse.
class for content and projects, and then that adds in properties and stuff. So I have that, and then I actually just sort it from done and undone. So from I think it was Z to A. I don't even remember because I just yeah, from A to Z. So anything that isn't done goes at the top, and then I might do. It varies depending on what I want to do. I haven't really. I kind of more often just open the piece of content and just,
Do it.
yeah, it's
And then
nice
it gets
there at a
stored.
glance.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, because I with with the stuff that I'm doing, uh, I've got I've got loads of things that I want to get done.
Mm.
And it's working out whether it's going to be focused, coach development focused, respawn trampoline, or whether it's going to be YouTube focused, or whether it's just like stuff I want to talk about and discuss, or whether it's a place I want to go, whether it's a coach I want to meet, something like that. So I've got lots of different sort of areas of things, and I was like, how do I make it so it's all useful rather than just here's loads of files and loads of stuff I could be doing. Um, and so I've made sure that it's sports coaching related because sports coaching is obviously what I'm doing. It's my area of research interest. Even when I was making the Obsidian videos, it was still like sports coaching related. Um, but I kind of have like two different ways of categorizing. I've got the, I guess, area tag. Like they've got coaching because it's coaching. Then they have a secondary tag, which is the kind of the area it's in. So I've got books, chapters, discussion, LinkedIn, or research. So books are quite literally they are full books. So I have a file that is the full book, like how we learn to move, me becoming a sports coach, sports coaching professional and practice, professionalism and practice, those sorts of things. Each one of those is a file. But then each of those files has obviously backlinks in Obsidian to the chapters. So I've got a file on the book and then a file on the chapter, and so I've got books and chapters because I might want to do like a 2 hour video or a 2 hour piece of content or a massive video essay or just massive essay on the book, or I might just want to talk about the chapter, and the chapter will likely relate to other research topics, such as chapter one in Myths of Sports Coaching is Myths of Deliberate Practice. And then there's a LinkedIn post about deliberate practice. And then there's another research paper about deliberate practice. And so those three things, articles, places, sources, whatever you want to call them, relate to the broader topic of deliberate practice. But I don't have a deliberate practice file because, as mentioned when we were talking about the atomic notes, it just gets massive. And
Yeah.
I like it massive, but I don't like multiple files that are massive talking about the similar topics. Um,
Huh.
and the small files are no, there's way too many of them. Um, so what I've found is that I need to kind of ignore the topic, as in
Mm.
deliberate practice, ignore that, um, and look at okay, where's the main area this is coming from, i.e., LinkedIn, research paper, book, whatever. Uh, and then solve a problem with the file. So
Ah.
the file's problem is myth of deliberate practice. Why is it a myth? Why is deliberate practice a myth? Or why could it be seen as a myth? Then the LinkedIn post is is deliberate practice with elite sports people. Okay, how does it work with elite sport people? So there's a context there. So when we think about the effective coaching definition in specific coaching context, that last little bit, I have multiple files talking about deliberate practice, which some people may see as duplicates, but they're not duplicates because they're different coaching contexts.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
then do
with
you
me?
have kind of like um a file which has
All those in? No,
no. Ah, interesting. Well, I suppose you wouldn't need it, would you? Because it's
because I can search for the word. If
and how
it,
do you do you have a status property or a tag or something to so that you can see easy, or is it just as simple as, commando, blah, 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 blah,
Yep.
open it?
I mean, it probably won't be in the file title. It'll probably be somewhere in the script, me talking about deliberate practice. Because what I've noticed when writing a lot is if I'm writing and I start with a certain thing in mind, say I'm writing about the myth of deliberate practice, and as I go through, I realize actually, no, I'm talking about this thing instead. the words and the phrasing of deliberate practice sort of disappear from the file. So I might have added a property, deliberate practice, to the file, but when I read it back, it's like one or two mentions at the start, and then I go talk about some other problem or story or topic or piece of research. So
So it's kind of like you have a keyword.
yeah, I'm searching for keywords rather than trying to store them because then I have to update what the file's actually about, especially if I go back to the file multiple times. Like I've gone back to a file recently. Oh, what was it? I think it was about reflection. I think it was on action reflection. And in the file, there was loads of stuff in there about online coach education
Mm.
because the topic of in-action reflection was discussed in a PhD thesis that I was reading about. And so I thought, oh, well, that makes sense. Let's just put that source in this file. Then I started writing about the source, and it had nothing to do with the original file title. I was like, oh, well, that's completely useless. Why is that title there? So I needed to change the title, which obviously then changes the reference point. So any backlinks that I'd done with like the atomic note sort of backlink thing didn't make any sense now because I changed the title to online coach education. And in the file that it had referenced, I'm going, oh yeah, you've got three different types of reflection: in action, on action, after action. But then the in action is now not in action, it's online education. Oh, well, that's not a reflection at all, is it? So the atomic linking backlinking just doesn't make sense. Which, yes, granted, I could just create a new file of online education for it instead of changing the file, but now I've got this old file that I'm not using that says in action reflection, which still relates to online education, and then another online education file. So I'm like, right, so instead of having one file, I've now got two. And instead of being clear about one file, I'm now unclear about one, and I don't know where the new one now fits because it's new and I need to work out where it fits. Like, that's more work, that's more jobs. I don't want to do that.
It goes back to something we've been saying for a very, 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 very long time of like, if we have to think about it, it's the idea of having to spend so much time thinking about what we're doing versus just doing the thing. It was something that I think Layla said many years ago in one of our lives around Notion users like to think about their Notion instead of doing the thing itself. And it's a similar thing. It's like, why would I want to create a new file? Because that would just make my life. Then I have to think. And the moment I have to think, the tool becomes annoying and frustrating
I have to do
versus being able to use the file and just get on with what I want to do. It's definitely become since moving away from Notion into, oh, even though I'm still in Notion, which is a shock to many, um, like my use of it has become so simple that I don't have to think about it. It's very automated and very like specific to
yeah.
my workflow more than simple. Like it's so specific and tailored and constrained to exactly what I want it to do. And then it fades into the background of this is what I've done, this is how I've done it, this is where it's, and then I just
I
get on
think
with
that's what most people want though. Most people want a way, which is why people like Notion, a way to create a thing that works for them the way that they want it to work, rather than having to work around the constraints of the tool, of the software. And if
only
you
problem is that people really struggle with that first step of knowing what they actually want.
yeah, yeah. Well, they have a
And
problem and they'll try and find a solution to the problem, but the solution isn't necessarily the most effective. And ClickUp is a perfect example because obviously you mentioned Layla. Like ClickUp can be great, but can also be a real pain in the bum because it is so constrained. You're like, yeah, but I don't want to do like that. I don't want to have lists and folders and smart lists and smart folders and things going into a calendar and then changing the date or updating a due date or having a planned date or I need to add more custom fields to get this thing done. Like, I don't want any of that. Which is one of the reasons I actually really like Morgan Tasks because it's just what do you want to do? When do you want it due? Let's schedule it.
I do love Morgan tasks. Just
I recognize there are limitations because it is so simple, but they are so simple. They are just get the thing done. Similar with Google Tasks, like just get the thing done.
I just don't like Google tasks. Like if you're not always in the Google ecosystem, it's not helpful.
I like Google Tasks quick viewing, as in like being able to quickly see the tasks, and I like the quickness of capture because you can really capture a Google Task anywhere. You could be on your phone in the car and talking, and you'd be like,
That's true.
blah 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 blah. I would say it, but and then my phone would make it because it's in front of me. So so you can make the task quickly there, or like the widget on your phone, make a task quickly in your widget. Whereas Morgan opens up the app. It's a little bit different there. In Google Mail, same thing. And believe it or not, I use Microsoft To Do when I'm making a task with Outlook Mail from work. Yeah, I know. Exactly, there's that face. Yeah, so I use Microsoft To Do. And I could use Todoist, but I don't need to because the other tools work fine.
I just like the fact that I can bring everything in. Like, I think that's one of the big selling points for me with Morgan. It doesn't matter where I am, it can come in. Or almost doesn't matter where I am, it can come in.
Mm, yeah, and I think that's one of the big points I have for Obsidian is it doesn't matter what I'm writing about or where I am. If I've got Obsidian on the device, I can use it. I,
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I've just realized I'm looking at my Obsidian. I mentioned there are three tags on files. The first one is just to say, hey, this is a coaching file. The second one is to give a rough area. The third one is a status. So I have scripting as a status. And then obviously, if if there is going to be some editing going on, then editing would be in a status. But that's it. It's just scripting, editing. And I've got all of
Nice.
those as different views filtered in one place.
Simple. That works.
Yep, so I've got all ideas, books, check, chapters, completed, discussion, LinkedIn, research, and scripting, all as different views. And I've got currently 103 files there.
Nice.
So that's about two videos a week for the next year.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm all sorted for content. I just got to do it. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I think is a question worth bringing up, because you mentioned you use Obsidian for your content.
Yes.
What are you doing about content? Because you were using Substack for stuff, and then you're using social media. I've seen you do some things on Instagram. Was it TikTok or an Instagram reel? I think it was an Instagram
Instagram.
reel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So a lot of my content is basically reusing everything I already have a lot of the time. So that Instagram reel was based on a presentation I made for a summit that I was at. I'm going to be pulling some more pieces out of that and posting some more of those because they're easy and simple and you make it as quick as possible. My main content, there's places for my content. That is the main places. There is Substack and then there is my email list. Substack is where people just go to want content from me, like the longer, more rambling, more like deep divey. And then my email list is for kind of summaries of that and behind the scenes stuff and like it's almost a uh back what's the word I'm looking for? A legacy media because I have a fairly large list. Well, I have a sizable enough list to warrant using it, and I have my forms everywhere, and I cannot be bothered to remove them. And there is the community aspect of Kit's creator like community, which a lot of business people are on. So it's like this is a good way of me getting more people on my list, and discovery is great. And so it's my email list in Kit, it's my Substack, and then everything else breathes out from that. That's pretty
Okay.
much it.
Yeah, because while you were talking, I've been trying to work out what to do with newsletters because I enjoy sharing ideas and talking about ideas. I do it on social media quite a lot, mainly LinkedIn nowadays because that's where most of the coaches are for
Mm.
whatever reason, for better or worse. Um, but when I think about emails, a lot of the emails are structured. I'm like, I don't have like a day that I would do it. I should just, I feel like doing this thing now, so I'm going to do this thing now. And the more I think about an email list, the more I'm like, I feel like this is like going back in time social media. I was watching a conversation with what was it? It was Colin and Samir and the creator of Patreon. I can't remember his name. I can see his face, glasses, beard.
Yeah, I
Um,
know what you mean.
yeah, the Patreon guy. Um, and I think it was Colin Smear's recent video, but and the clips of various highlight clips of various creators that we're talking to. And in this conversation, the Patreon guy, can't remember his name, this is really going to bug me, said that Web 2.0 introduced the follow button. And that was big because now you could follow the people that you wanted to see. Like that was big. And you're like, yep, yep, I agree. Now you can follow, you can subscribe to the people that you want to see. TikTok kind of removed the follow button because it now doesn't really matter whether you
Yeah.
need to subscribe or follow or whatever because the For You feed sort of just gives you the information. YouTube's very similar. You don't really need to subscribe because it just suggests things to you. Uh, and
It
on
still makes me giggle that some YouTube people still go, "Oh, subscribe, it really helps out the channel." And I'm like,
No, it
no,
doesn't.
no,
Make
it
good shit.
doesn't. I know it doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I don't bother with it. Like it helps out the channel if you're under 1,000 subscribers.
Ah, good to know. I did not know that.
Well, think about it. How are you going to get monetized if you don't have 1,000 subscribers?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Hmm.
That's literally it. Subscribe so I can get 1,000 subscribers. Then do what you want. That's why I subscribe to the small channels that I see. Like if they've got under 1,000 subscribers, I will subscribe irrespective of whether I like the content or not because it helps them get to the number.
Yeah,
Because I don't
that
want people
grind,
demoted.
that
Yeah,
grind.
exactly. But going back to the newsletter, on social media, you can miss posts. I'm on LinkedIn, and sometimes I'll see a post that was posted like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that's fairly common on LinkedIn to see a post that's 2, 3 weeks old. Whereas
Yeah,
on
I did notice that. Like, that was really interesting to me that that's a thing. You see weeks old content. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
yeah, I mean, I think it's partly because there's not that much content on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Like not that many people post. I follow accounts. I don't connect with accounts. So I
yeah.
follow probably close to 7 or 8 thousand different coaches. I might, if I'm lucky, get like 9 or 10 different people in my feed, but they're basically the same coaches talking about the same sorts of stuff. So where I'm most interested on LinkedIn is what people comment on other posts. So I might spend a whole hour on one post, but it's on multiple comments of that one post. And what it makes me think about is okay, so LinkedIn is where most of these people are, but most of these people probably aren't scrolling through their LinkedIn feed. And it's kind of like a luck of the draw if you see it. And if you do see it, do you have the time to read it? Because LinkedIn posts typically are longer as well, and they are kind of articles. Some of them are fairly long reads, or they're linked to articles that are actually long reads because they're like 12 pages, 30 pages, 50 pages. Which makes me wonder, okay, if these professionals are preferring LinkedIn because of the longer content, or the written content, or the not so algorithmic, sensationalized content that you'll see on other platforms such as Twitter or Threads or X or whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, Reels, and they don't want to watch all that, maybe a newsletter is a better way to do social media for those people because it goes to their inbox. So they get notified about it.
I would probably it depends on how much of that content has references and stuff and is well referenced. Because originally I agree it was going to my inbox. The reason I started a Substack was because I wanted to reference my work and referencing and
I'm talking
so
Substack. I'm not talking like
annoying. Yeah,
blanket
cool.
email. I am talking
Ah,
Substack.
good. Yeah.
Mainly because people can then like go back and find it.
Mm,
Because you obviously you've got the Substack website where they can go back into the archive. Whereas in emails, they can't.
yeah. Yeah. I do love Substack. I do like Substack.
So yeah, I feel like even though Substack isn't a social media, it could be.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's social media for people who don't like social media.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Because I get a lot of emails from newsletters, and I don't read them because they're not interesting.
Mm.
And with Eastbourne Trampoline, I have a newsletter, obviously. Um, and I mean, I don't know what newsletter read rates are good. Maybe you know a bit more. But I have about a 60% read rate on a newsletter.
That's fantastic.
So, well, I say read rate, I think that's open rate. So,
Yeah.
and we have, I think, about 130-ish people there.
Yeah, that's fairly good. That is very good.
Which makes me think, okay, the newsletter is actually useful. Plus, I mean, some of those people are also in the WhatsApp, and I basically copy and paste the newsletter into the WhatsApp community. So some people don't need to read the newsletter because they've read it on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I feel like that's a good open rate, and I'm like, maybe I could do this with coachy stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty good to be fair.
We shall see. We shall see. But yeah, that's my current thinking about social media because I'm on social media, but I'm on LinkedIn, so it's not really social media.
Mm.
What about you?
So for me, a lot of my content is in emails. I have like a 50 to 68, Jesus Christ. I just opened my kit for that, and it's between my lowest is 47% open rate with about 3 to 500 subscribers. It's nice and small, nice and contrite and concise, sorry, and it's nice and simple. So a lot of my content goes the I love the social media stuff I will always find difficult. In fact, I've had constant arguments with my AI because it tries to make short, pithy nonsense from my work. And I'm like, no, no, we create mini blogs here. This is how we take my very long blogs and multi kind of faceted multi ideas and we turn those multiple ideas into concise, shorter ideas after feedback of sometimes this stuff's really overwhelming. I love it and I feel like I'm learning a lot, but and I'm like,
Yeah.
cool. So I take those big ideas and break them down into smaller, more manageable bites as best as I can. And then I post that on social media. So the social media is it is not as short as it could be because I don't want it as short as it could be because it sucks. And maybe, like, upon reflection, I need to look at LinkedIn again because it sounds like LinkedIn might be better considering they like longer posts. So that might be something to play with. But primarily, my social media, my content plan is big post, Substack, go to email marketing, send email marketing, and when I say email marketing, I mean using Kit and more a traditional broadcast thing, which always links back to that post. And then I take my Substack post and then turn it into other pieces of content that I just put out on my socials to be as quick and as simple as possible so that I can just get on with that. Um,
I just had a look. So LinkedIn has a 3,000 character limit.
that's beautiful.
So instead of the traditional 200 and 250 limit, or maybe 1,000 character limit, it's 3,000.
Oh, I need to use LinkedIn.
So yeah, and obviously everyone on LinkedIn are typically professionals. Like a lot of the people that I'm talking to, professors, they're academics, they're lecturers, or they're head coaches or head developers. They're significant people in the field. Whereas on social media, you can just, speaking from the sports coaching world, you could just get some any old coach that did a course like 20 years ago and has been volunteering at their club for years and they think they know everything. And you're like, I respect your opinion. I will respectfully disagree with your opinion. And then cite multiple articles that you should have read 20 plus years ago, but you haven't. And so you sort of get those beginner arguments a lot. And Instagram is a for sports coaching drills.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
again, it's one of those things as a coach developer, you look at the thing and you go, right, I understand where you're coming from. I understand the myths that you believe are real. And I understand why you're doing this. What I don't understand is why you haven't looked at any coach education resources and gone, oh, maybe I should challenge this. Like, just check and challenge with any coach developer from literally any sport, or speak to just someone that looks at sport, and they could recognize, maybe you should think about this in a different way. Like, yeah,
Why would they do that?
because they're a coach. Um,
God, no. Coach means you're good at things, and that's it.
story time. So, I was talking with one of the other coaches I work with at Eastbourne Trampoline, and they they check and challenge very rarely with themselves. Um, and as the coach developer in the club, I try and encourage that. So we did a check and challenge on Friday. And for context, when you land on a trampoline, most people think you land on your feet, right? But you can land on your bum, or your front, or your back. And you could also land on your shoulder when you mess up. You could also land on your knees when you mess up. Or you could deliberately land on your shoulder because you've twisted and you want to twist a quarter instead of a half. Or you could land on your knees deliberately because you want to land on your hands and knees because you're prepping another skill. Or you could land just on your knees. And when you land on your knees, you could be landing sitting, sort of like sitting on your heels with your knees on the trampoline. Or you could be landing just like knees heavy, but you could be leaning forwards, leaning backwards. Or you could be landing on your knees with your hands out or your arms bent. And when you land on your feet, you could land on one foot or with your legs straight or your legs bent. So there's loads of different ways to land on the trampoline, right? And this coach, for whatever reason, and this is why we did the check and challenge, was saying don't land on your knees on the trampoline. And then proceeded to give all these potential risks and dangers and created a bit of fear in the participant not to persuade them not to land on their knees. So right, okay. And so my check and challenge was, why don't you tell them about all the risks about landing on their feet on the trampoline? And they weren't really sure. Because when you land on your feet on the trampoline and you're going high, you could fall off. Because if you're slightly weighted one side, you fall right or fall left, you fall off. If you land with your knees completely straight on a trampoline, all that force is going to go straight through your knees gaps. That's not safe either. If you land one foot slightly in front of the other, you could roll an ankle. Like, there are loads of risks jumping on your feet on the trampoline, but none of those are mentioned. But they are when they're on their knees, apparently. I'm like, why? Where's the logic for this one situation? And it's because they'd seen something. Someone had landed on their knees and they had miscoordinated basically their body and hurt themselves. And so the coach was using one situation where they saw a big injury, and that guided all of their instructions into the future, which biased their coaching. Logically, I totally understand that you see someone with a bad injury, you don't want to see that again.
Mm.
But on reflection, and with the check and challenge, they hadn't even considered, oh yeah, maybe I should be fair about the way people land on their body on the trampoline. Either I share all of the risks with all of the ways they could land, which one takes a lot of time, and two basically is telling someone that hey, this is really, really dangerous all the time, which
Mm,
isn't going to be good or fun. Or you reserve those comments and those experiences to where there is a higher likelihood of risk. If someone is landing on their knees from a really low height, it's not much of an issue. If someone's landed on their knees and they're off balance a little bit, and then they do it again, and then they're on balance again, there's no issue. They've learned. If they've done the same thing multiple times and it's looked a bit dangerous a couple of times in a row and then not changing anything, then you can step in and sort of ask how they're feeling about it. Like, does that feel balanced? Do you feel any pain anywhere? And those things like
mm,
that.
yeah.
And that's a really simple check and challenge that I did. And it wasn't me saying, because they said, oh, do you not want me to say that anymore? I was like, no, you can say that if you want. But the challenge is why are you saying it on this movement and not all of the other movements?
Yeah.
And those sorts of check and challenges, for me, I'm emphasizing that so people don't forget. For me, is what reflection is. And that's
Mm,
what coach development is. It's not to say, hey, you're wrong, or, oh, yeah, I agree with that. It's check and challenge. Sometimes I will check and challenge myself on things that I know I want to do, but I'm like, why am I doing this?
yeah,
Like,
I'm the same. Yeah. It's like, I'm doing this thing. Why am I doing this right now? Why am I worrying about this? What is this all about? Why? What? Huh?
I guess as a practical example, I don't encourage people to wear long sleeved or long trouser tops and bottoms to cover up their knees and elbows when they're on the trampoline, because I like them to recognize that scraping their elbows and scraping their knees is a learning opportunity. Like if you're scraping your elbows on the trampoline, you're probably landing elbows first, which if it hurts, try and do something different. If they're wearing a long sleeve jumper, it now doesn't hurt their elbows anymore because it's scraping the jumper until you get holes in the jumper. Uh, so with the front landing, when they're landing on their front, sometimes they land like arms first, so it scrapes the elbows. And I did a check and challenge on Saturday because one of the boys that I was coaching doing front landings like that. I even said to his mum, I was like, I'm surprised he's still doing that because, like, it probably is scratching his elbows. And she was like, well, obviously not. He's quite tall. So she was saying, oh, maybe his arms are getting under his body nice enough. About 20 minutes later, he goes to put on his jacket. I was like, you cold? No, my arms are hurting. And I was like, okay, so check and challenge. Do I ask him not to wear the jumper and to change the front landing, or do I let him wear the jumper? And that is a coaching philosophy thing. It is a decision that I'm making about the philosophy that I want to coach by. And so I said to him, What, why does it hurt your elbows? He said, well, because I landed on them first. I was like, would you want to wear the jumper? Not really, because it's hot. Okay, so what else could you do? I guess move my arm somewhere else? I was like, yeah. He said, well, where else can you move them? So, okay. So now we're in a conversation about how you adjust the movement rather than my problem is I need to wear a jumper so it doesn't scratch my arms.
So good. And then it matters more.
Yeah. And they'll remember that.
Mm,
Rather than me saying, put your arms out to the side when you do a front landing, and them go, why?
mm.
Because that's where they need to be. But why? So it doesn't scrape your elbows. But it's not scraping my elbows. So why? Because that's what 5 and 6 year olds do.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, that's what adults do as well.
But why?
Because adults are children. Adults were children. Adults are humans still learning. And how do we learn? By asking questions. Typically, why?
Mm.
So, yeah, I guess as a question to you, did you watch the video that came out? The video that I posted? That's a no. Okay. Um,
Are we talking YouTube or social media or because I saw the social media one where you were bouncing.
Oh, me just bouncing on my bum, on my front, on my back, and yeah, fiddling around. Yeah. No, I'm talking YouTube one.
No,
Because you're not on YouTube that much, are you?
not really, no.
Yeah, because I posted a link to the video on LinkedIn in
Not
a
on LinkedIn.
in no in a post. No, that's what I mean. Like the places that I post, you're not there. So I posted a video. It's about 4 minutes long, and it's titled about fixing drills because I wasn't sure how to title it. But I'm focused on attention, intention, and the win condition. So I'm like, maybe I need to post it. Maybe I need to post on Facebook.
Maybe.
But yeah, so the video is like 4 minutes long, maybe five. I can't remember. It's pretty short. Like I liked that one. I enjoyed that one, so I think I'm going to do more of those.
Cool.
But yeah, so that sort of coaching story is something that I might bring up. What do you think about that?
I don't know,
You,
that's a pretty cool idea.
mm, yeah, because you saw my Facebook video. Did you see my Facebook post that came out like a month or so ago? It was a longer text post. Did you see me write something on Facebook? Because I don't write anything on Facebook apart from being a social media post.
Yeah, so like an actual piece of content on Facebook. I saw the videos. I see your videos more than I see anything else.
I post videos more than anything else.
Cool. Then yes,
Okay.
probably.
Okay. Right. Yeah, because with your content, I've seen like one video, I think. Uh, and then I'm on your Substack, which I must admit, I open the email, I give a skim read, and then I bounce off.
Yeah, I don't think it's really for you. I don't think it's like my content is not designed for you.
Yeah.
Like I know it's not. Because there was a period of time, it's like, well, this isn't being opened by you, so why not? It's like, well, because it's not for you. Like everything I'm telling you, you already know.
Yeah. And
Everything
then
I'm,
I
every
guess
yeah,
what content do you watch about coaching?
not a lot. Yeah, not a lot of content on coaching.
Because this was an on reflection point I had yesterday while I was
Mm,
watching the rugby. I was like, I don't think coaches actually watch coaching content. Because if they did, there would be more of it. Like when you go on YouTube, there isn't much sports coaching content. When you go on Instagram Reels or Facebook or TikTok, it's hard to find sports coaching content. If it's hard to find it, either there isn't a demand for it or people don't know how to make it. I've tried. I've tried a couple of different ways, but it's hard. It's hard to work
well,
out what works.
we had that for years with what we were trying to do, like creating content about how to do the things instead of what to do. Like when we back with Notion Nerds, and even Layla had discussed it. Layla was and what it was that during that big live stream we did. It's like people want to know the tips and the tricks and the hacks. They don't want to know why and how, when really the why and how is the exciting, like, is the exciting bit. It's like the why are you doing it this way? How are you doing it this way? How do you take
Mm.
what you want and you turn it into something that you'll actually do?
I, I'm just thinking, LinkedIn, I'm talking to coach developers typically
Mm.
because they're lecturers, professors, they're head coaches that have coaches underneath them. On social media, all the coaching stuff are drills for athletes. So it's coach to athlete, not coach to coach.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the reframing that I need to do. I need a coach to coach narrative, not coach to athlete narrative.
Mm.
because you can type in any sport, badminton, football, NFL, rugby, cricket, whatever, and you'll get the coach telling the athlete how to do the thing,
Yeah.
but it's not coach to coach.
Mm.
Maybe that, because me as a coach, when I'm looking for stuff, I struggle.
Yes.
And I guess that's similar to you, which
Yeah.
is why you don't watch the coaching content.
Yeah. A lot of it is very surface level, or whenever I've looked up coaching stuff, it's sales, how to sell yourself as a coach, like in the business
Yeah.
context. It's never really about why do you coach? How do you coach? What is the theory behind your coaching? It's just, oh, well, I do it because of this completely debunked theory. I do it because of this completely debunked theory. I'm like, yeah, but have you looked into that at all? No. Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the business world.
That was a useful reframing. And I'm going to write that down in my notes.
Ooh.
I'm
I'm
gonna,
really interested. Like, what would that look like for business?
what do you mean?
How could you coach?
Well, you'll be coaching coaches.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you want to coach coaches?
Eh.
You could
I think,
complain at coaches.
yeah, complaining at coaches, that I'm good at that. I've had some good complaints recently. It's funny because a lot of the coaches that are good coaches are finding the resources elsewhere in sports coaching and
Mm.
other theories. So it's like, how would I translate that if I ever wanted to? I suppose part of what I'm doing now is translating that. I'm almost translating that for neurodiverse individuals who are actually if I look at what I get when it comes to clients, often I get coaches.
Mm. Yes, maybe you are coaching coaches.
Maybe I am. That's interesting.
Again, it's like a reframing. It's like,
Yeah.
so instead of coach to athlete, it's coach to coach.
Mm.
Similar to B2B or the other one.
B2C.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I was going through the alphabet, I'm like, which letter is it? Which letter is it?
B to A, B to B, B to C. Yay!
Exactly. That's where I was like, it's not B2A, B2B we've just done, and then to B2C. I was like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. That's interesting. I help neurodiverse coaches coach better.
Mm. Well, coach developer is a role.
Yeah.
Simspa even have professional standards for coach developers.
Oh,
Exactly. So Simspa, they're the Chartered Institute for the Management of Sport and Physical Activity. Yeah. They're the people that regulate sports. Uh, and they have standards.
regulations, what are they?
Things that people ignore.
Mm.
But they have written standards for what they expect. So maybe it's worth having a look through the coach developer standard to see what they want to show. CIMSPA.
CIMSPA.
Yep, SIMSPA. So maybe have a look into the coach developer standards and having a look at what they expect a coach developer to be able to do, and maybe sort of just go through and they'll be like, yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, we do that. No, I don't do that because we're not in sport. Uh, so yeah, maybe you could say you're a neurodiverse coach developer.
Oh.
There you go. It's a little bit different. Well, it separates you from just I'm a coach because
Mm.
everyone's a coach nowadays.
Oh, and they're just.
I've decided to be a coach. Why? Because I need a job. I need to earn money and I can't be a freelancer by myself, so I'm going to call myself a coach. Great. yes, mildly salty about the coaches out there that aren't actually coaches.
Mm.
Yeah,
Huh.
derailed a little bit from Obsidian bases, but I think
Why
we
wouldn't we? Like,
we
let's be honest. That's just normal.
exactly. Anything else you want to add?
Don't think so, no.
I think there's been a productive conversation, and we're going to continue being curious coaches. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See,
Oh,
yeah. I was like, how? What group are we? We are curious coaches, just like everyone else.
season 5, 6, Curious Coaches.
Where in the world did that come from?
I don't know. We had Ecological Psychology was season 4.
Oh, season. Yeah, I'm with you now. Yeah, no, we're still ecological psychology. That's still what we're talking about. I'm
Ah,
not.
but last week we weren't. We were like, it doesn't matter.
No,
That's
but that's
unimportant.
still on top. We're still talking about eco D. We're just saying why it's not useful in certain contexts, which is inherently eco D.
I love it.
I know.
EcoD,
It's like
EcoD,
really like really Matrix. That doesn't make sense.
better.
That's the one. Yeah, I was like, that's Matrix is not the word there. Uh, but yeah, right. I think that's an hour. I
We
think
did good.
it's about an hour bang on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'll close it out there. Bye.